Hello, welcome back. We are on to our second metric, one of our key metrics to help us figure out how we can grow. And this metric is forecast accuracy by 1 month. This is the sales ops effect where we drive predictable growth in small to medium-sized businesses. By one, I mean one, as in we won it rather than won the number. Okay, so what is forecast accuracy? First off, there's a difference between the goals that you set up for the year, and if you broke those down by the month, those goals would add up to your total target, and that's cool, well and fine, and you can do accuracy based on that. But the way that I calculate accuracy is based off of the more immediate projections for the next months. And that is something that we're going to look at in the metric weighted pipeline by expected close date, right? So that's not what we're talking about right now, that weighted pipeline, but that weighted pipeline, that forecast is what helps to build this. So closer to the time, you end up with your forecast number to say, okay, this is what we expect to be closed in the next month. And then once we have our closed one number, the reality, then we can compare the two to get the percentage, what your forecast accuracy percentage is. And so you might think, well, what's the point of looking at forecast accuracy anyway? How does it help? Well, it helps for a number of reasons, because we're not just when we're growing a business and when we're building up and we're training the sales team, we're not just looking at, ooh, sales, we need to win more sales. Yes, we do, but we need to win more quality sales. And to win more quality sales, you need to inject quality into everything, and that includes the way that the salespeople are working, right? There's a discipline to this. So you want to make sure that they are keeping the CRM up to date, because without clean data, then none of this is of any use, right? And you do get pushback sometimes about people not wanting to update the CRM, and I do understand it, but ultimately, a clean, up-to-date CRM helps salespeople, but that's a conversation for a different time. I've got evidence to prove it. Conversation for a different time. But anyway, so our team have said to us, this is the amount that we expect to get in the next month. And then the month closes, and then we've got close one amount and we compare to, we get the forecast accuracy. Woohoo. Right? Now, why is it important? It is important because, like I say, it tells you as well how clean your data is, because if your forecast accuracy is out by tons, so if it's only over like 50%, then what's going on? What is going on? Because and this is a true indicator, if people aren't updating the CRM properly to say this is how much money is coming in, they either don't know, so they're not working the deal properly, or they know and they're choosing to not tell the system. For what reason? For what reason? Because on the surface, you might hear a lot of, oh, well, I don't like people looking over my shoulder and whatever. Okay, great, then go and work for yourself. There really is there's no other team where you get to say, oh, I don't want my manager to know what work I'm doing. And as long as you've got good managers with good managerial skills that aren't actually going in there and properly nitpicking at absolutely everything, you know, you need to have a healthy system so that everybody knows what's going on. The CRM is a communication tool, if nothing else, because everybody can access it wherever they are in the world, as long as they've got their login, right? So it tells you about the health of the approach of salespeople to deals. Because if you've got somebody that forever says, oh yeah, now I'm expecting 2 million next month. Yeah. And then 200K comes in and they keep saying that, then that tells you we've got a performance problem here. Either this person doesn't know how to close, or these deals were lost a while ago and they haven't updated the system, which again, performance problem, there's a discipline problem. And where there's discipline problems that you can see internally, there will be discipline problems externally, as in the message that those salespeople are giving to your clients will not necessarily be in line with what everybody agreed we should be talking about, what the strategic fit was. And you can end up having situations that I've also experienced where salespeople have sold the world to a client and managed to get a deal in. And then all of a sudden, when delivery tries to deliver to that deal, they're looking at it and going, we don't actually have these things that they're talking about. It's just ridiculous. And it's just because the salesperson's managed to just get away with it, right? Much wider conversation, but that's why forecast accuracy is the second on the list. Because if you're looking at your closed won trend, which was the very first metric, and then you've got the forecast accuracy metric next to it, then it shows you it reveals a deeper story as to what's going on. So if July, which we were looking at before, July was a great big month in comparison to the July the year before, and we've also got here forecast accuracy of 80%, that shows that that wasn't a fluke. That wasn't an accident. That was planned. Yes, it would have been nice if 80% was higher, but the sales team at least knew they expected this stuff to come in. You see? Whereas when the numbers are all over the shop, then that should, make the hairs rise on the back of your neck to be like, okay, this wasn't planned. We just managed to get tons of deals in. Great. But how did we not know it was coming? Because if things aren't being planned, if deals aren't being actively nurtured and grown, they just happen to come in by accident, then you can't prepare for that. You can't plan for that, then it's just a case of, oh, well, we might get a lot of money in October, but we might not, we don't know. That's why forecast accuracy, it might not seem like as if it's really important, but even if you don't know how important it is because it's a second metric, so you're just going over it really quickly. Once you then see the rest of the metrics, you go back to this and you can say, oh, okay, yeah. So even just looking at this chart, right? You've got December, 40% accuracy. Now, why is that? Because in a lot of businesses, salespeople are allowed, quote unquote, to just shunt opportunities to the end of the year because they think nobody's looking at the end of the year. So when you're looking at the whole year forecast, it looks like there's a really big uptick right towards the end of the year because, oh yeah, no, we'll get that in. We just need time to work it, whatever. And it's not true. It's not true. It doesn't happen like that. It doesn't happen like that. But this is a quick forecast accuracy by 1 month. It's so important. It's so helpful. And it speaks to a lot of things that are going on in a business, even if it doesn't do it immediately, right? And like I say, if you break this down by salesperson, you can break it down in lots of different ways, opportunity type, etc. But you break it down by salesperson, then you'll really see who's on the money. Because chances are your low-performing salesperson isn't going to have a good forecast accuracy unless they're accurately saying, I'm not getting anything in, and they didn't get anything in, right? It's a very good indicator as to the whole of what's going on in the business. So let me know what you think about that, and then we'll be back next week with the third key metric. Thanks for tuning in. If you like this episode, please look at the list of other episodes. I'm sure there's another one that can help you. See you next time.